Have you ever felt a nudge, a whisper, or even a loud proclamation from God telling you to avoid a certain type of woman in your life? Well, we're here to talk about just that. This video is going to be an enlightening journey where we delve into the 7 signs that may suggest God is guiding you away from a specific woman. These signs aren't just figments of imagination, they are grounded in biblical principles and enriched with personal experiences. From issues projecting past experiences onto you, to a lack of respect or even dishonesty, there are a multitude of signs that might be trying to catch your attention. Consider this your guide to deciphering those divine signs. As we go along, you might find some signs resonate with you more than others. That's okay. Every journey is unique and God communicates with each of us in different ways. So, are you ready to gain some insight? Stay tuned as we unravel these signs one by one. The first sign is when she is projecting past issues onto you. Now, what does this mean? Projecting past issues is when someone takes unresolved feelings or experiences from their past and places them onto their current partner. Picture this, you're in a relationship with a woman who's had a bad experience with a previous partner. Perhaps he was dishonest or maybe neglectful. Now, even though you're a different person, she's viewing you through the lens of her past experiences. She's looking for signs of dishonesty or neglect in your actions, even if they're not there. This is projection. It's as if she's watching a movie of her past but superimposing your face onto the characters. To her, you become an embodiment of her past issues, and this can be damaging to your relationship. Why? Well, first off, it's unfair to you. You're being judged not for who you are, but for who someone else was. You're being held accountable for someone else's mistakes. This can be incredibly frustrating and can lead to resentment. Secondly, it hinders your personal growth. Instead of appreciating your strengths and working on your weaknesses, you're fighting ghosts from her past. You're constantly on the defensive, trying to prove that you're not like her ex, instead of focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. Lastly, it can create a toxic dynamic in the relationship. Instead of working together to build a healthy, supportive partnership, you're stuck in a cycle of blame and mistrust. The relationship becomes more about past issues than about the present and future. So how do you handle this? Communication is key. Talk to her about your concerns. Encourage her to seek help if she's struggling to let go of her past. But remember, you can't fix her. She has to want to heal and move forward herself. Remember, you are not a dumping ground for someone else's unresolved issues. Sign number 2, watch out for unstable behavior. It's a red flag that can't be ignored. Unstable behavior can manifest in many forms, and it's essential to identify it early on. This could mean frequent mood swings, erratic decisions, or an inability to maintain a consistent line of thought or action. This type of behavior can be disruptive and create a toxic environment that's not conducive to a healthy relationship. Think about it this way. A relationship is like a ship sailing on the seas of life. Now imagine if the captain of that ship was constantly changing course, without rhyme or reason. One moment you're sailing smoothly towards the setting sun, and the next you're veering off into a storm. This erratic steering can lead to a tumultuous journey, filled with uncertainty and stress. That's what it's like being in a relationship with someone exhibiting unstable behavior. Moreover, such behavior can also affect the emotional stability of the relationship. Emotional stability is a cornerstone of a healthy relationship. It's the calm in the eye of the storm, the steady hand that guides the ship through rough waters. Without it, the relationship can become a roller coaster ride of highs and lows, leaving both parties feeling emotionally drained. Unstable behavior can also create a cycle of unpredictability. One day, everything might be going great, and the next, things might take a turn for the worse without warning. This cycle can be exhausting and can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. So, what can you do when faced with unstable behavior in a relationship? The first step is to recognize it. Awareness is the first step towards change. Next, it's important to communicate your concerns in a respectful and understanding manner. If the behavior continues, it may be necessary to consider if this relationship is truly beneficial for you. Remember, a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, understanding, and stability. It's about navigating life's challenges together with a steady hand and a clear direction. Unstable behavior disrupts this balance and can lead to a turbulent and stressful relationship. It's also important to note that everyone has their ups and downs, and we all face periods of instability in our lives. However, when these periods become the norm rather than the exception, it's a cause for concern. Lastly, remember that you're not alone. Seek advice from trusted friends, family, or a counselor if you're struggling with this issue. It's okay to ask for help. Unstable behavior is not a foundation for a healthy relationship. It's a sign that should not be ignored. Be vigilant, be aware, and prioritize your well-being. After all, a ship is only as good as its captain, and you deserve a journey that's smooth, steady, and full of joy. Third sign to look out for is unbiblical dependency. Now, what do we mean by unbiblical dependency? It's when a person leans on another individual for their emotional, spiritual, or even physical needs to such an extent that it replaces their reliance on God. It's like building a house on sand instead of solid rock. The results are unstable and unsustainable. Let's dive a little deeper. Imagine a woman who constantly seeks affirmation from you, who looks to you for her happiness and self-worth, who expects you to fill the void in her life that only God can fill. That's unbiblical dependency. What's wrong with this picture? Well, it's not just about the pressure it puts on you. It's about the fact that no human being can truly fulfill another's needs in the way that our Creator can. We are all, in our own ways, broken vessels. We need God's grace to fill us, to heal us, and to make us whole. When we try to replace God's role with another person, we're setting ourselves and them up for disappointment. And let's not forget the impact this can have on your own spiritual journey. When you're constantly trying to meet someone else's needs, it's easy to lose sight of your own relationship with God. You might find yourself praying less, reading the Bible less, and attending church less. You might even find yourself compromising on your beliefs and values to keep the peace. That's a slippery slope, my friends. It leads away from God, not towards Him. So, how do you spot unbiblical dependency? Look for signs of excessive neediness, emotional manipulation, or an unwillingness to take personal responsibility. Is she always looking to you for answers and solutions? Does she blame you when things go wrong instead of looking to God for guidance and strength? Remember, it's not your job to be someone's savior. That role is reserved for one greater than us. It's okay, in fact it's necessary, to establish healthy boundaries in your relationships. In the end, a relationship should bring you closer to God, not drive you away from Him. It should be a partnership, grounded in mutual respect and a shared love for the Lord. Anything that falls short of this standard is a red flag to be taken seriously. An unhealthy dependence can create a barrier between you and God, so be vigilant, be discerning. And above all, keep God at the center of your life and your relationships. The fourth sign is when she has a negative reputation among multiple sources. Now, reputation isn't everything, but it does play a significant role in how we perceive and interact with others. A person's reputation, especially when it's formed from the opinions of multiple sources, can often provide a revealing glimpse into their character. Imagine reputation as a mirror, reflecting not just the face, but the heart and soul of a person. When you look into this mirror, what do you see? Do you see kindness, honesty, respect? Or do you see deceit, manipulation, and disregard for others? When a woman has a negative reputation, it's often because she's consistently displayed behaviors that aren't positive, respectful, or considerate. Let's delve into what a negative reputation might look like. It could be that she's known for her dishonesty, frequently telling lies or twisting the truth to suit her narrative. Perhaps she's recognized for being manipulative, always trying to control situations and people to her advantage. It could be that she's notorious for breaking trust, betraying confidences, and letting people down. Maybe she's infamous for causing conflict, stirring up trouble wherever she goes. A negative reputation could also manifest in the form of a lack of respect for others. This could be seen in the way she talks about or treats others, especially when she thinks no one is watching. It might be apparent in the way she disregards the feelings, thoughts, or well-being of others for her own gain. Remember, we're not talking about one-off incidents or mistakes. Everyone has bad days and everyone can mess up. We're speaking about consistent patterns of behavior that have led to a negative reputation. Now, it's crucial to note that people can change, and a negative reputation doesn't necessarily mean someone will always act in negative ways. However, consistent negative behavior that contributes to a poor reputation is a serious red flag. It's a sign that there are deeper issues at play that may lead to harmful or destructive patterns in a relationship. In such cases, it's wise to tread carefully. Ask yourself if this is the kind of person you want to invite into your life. Are these the kinds of behaviors you want to deal with on a daily basis? Is this the kind of influence you want to have on your personal growth and spiritual journey? A negative reputation is often a red flag that cannot be ignored. As we navigate through life, it's essential to pay attention to these signs. They can help guide us towards healthier, more fulfilling relationships and steer us clear from those that might cause us harm or distress. The fifth sign, and perhaps one of the most crucial, is a decline in your relationship with God. A relationship in its purest form should be a partnership that not only brings two people closer, but also strengthens their bond with God. It should be a union that fosters spiritual growth and enhances your connection with the divine. However, if you find yourself drifting away from God, it could be a sign that this woman might not be the one for you. Now, you might be wondering, how does a decline in your relationship with God manifest itself? It's not always as obvious as you might think. Sometimes it's a subtle shift. You might find yourself praying less or skipping your regular Bible study sessions. You might feel less inclined to attend church services or engage in religious discussions. You might even notice a change in your moral compass as you begin to question or deviate from the teachings that you once held dear. In some cases, this decline might be more apparent. You might feel a sense of spiritual emptiness, a disconnect from God that leaves you feeling lost and unfulfilled. You might struggle with guilt or confusion as you grapple with the changes in your spiritual life. Remember, a relationship should not lead you astray from your faith. Instead, it should encourage you to grow, to explore your beliefs, and to deepen your connection with God. It should inspire you to live a life that is in line with your spiritual principles, a life that brings you closer to God, not further away. So if you find that your relationship is causing you to drift away from God, it's time to take a step back and reassess. It's time to evaluate whether this relationship is truly beneficial, whether it's helping you grow or holding you back. It's time to consider whether this woman is truly the one for you, or whether God is telling you to avoid her. Remember, your relationship with God is the most important relationship in your life. It's a relationship that should be nurtured and cherished, a relationship that should always be your first priority. If your romantic relationship is causing a decline in your relationship with God, it might be a sign that this is not the woman for you. Your relationship with God should always be your first priority. Sign number 6 is a lack of respect. Now, respect is a word we all know, but often we fail to grasp its true essence in the context of a relationship. It's not just about treating someone with common courtesy or being polite. It's about valuing the other person's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It's about understanding that they have their own unique perspectives. And even if you don't always agree, you appreciate their individuality. So, what does a lack of respect look like in a relationship? It can take many forms. For instance, it might be a constant belittling or undermining of your feelings and ideas. It might be a disregard for your personal boundaries, or a persistent pattern of making decisions that affect both of you without considering your input. It could be a consistent pattern of dismissive behavior, where your opinions and feelings are constantly treated as less important. But remember, respect is not just about how the other person treats you, it's also about how they treat others. Pay attention to how she treats people around her, because that's a true reflection of her character. If she's constantly rude to waitstaff or dismissive of her friends, that's a red flag. It's a sign that she may not have the capacity to respect you in the long run. A lack of respect can lead to a toxic relationship. When respect is absent, it creates an imbalance. One person's needs, feelings, and ideas are considered secondary, which can lead to feelings of resentment and dissatisfaction. It's like trying to build a house on a weak foundation. No matter how beautiful the house, it won't stand strong in the face of a storm. Let's not forget, respect is a two-way street. It's not just about expecting respect, but also giving it. If you find that you're not being treated with respect, it's important to communicate this. A healthy relationship requires open and honest communication. If the lack of respect persists despite your efforts, it may be a sign that this relationship is not the one God intended for you. Remember, we are all children of God, deserving of love and respect. As it's written in 1 Peter 2:17, show proper respect to everyone, love the family of believers, fear God, honor the emperor. This verse reminds us of the importance of respect in all our relationships, not just romantic ones. Remember, respect is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. It's a vital building block, and without it, the structure of the relationship can crumble. So keep your eyes open for signs of respect, or the lack thereof, because it's a clear message from God about the type of woman you should or should not invite into your life. The seventh and final sign is dishonesty. This is a term we're all familiar with, right? But let's dive a little deeper into what dishonesty in a relationship really means and why it's a red flag. Honesty is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship. It's the foundation upon which trust is built, and trust, as we all know, is the lifeblood of a relationship. When honesty is compromised, that trust begins to crumble and insecurities start to creep in. You see, when someone is dishonest, they're not just lying about something, they're also disrespecting the person they're lying to. Dishonesty sends a message that the other person's feelings, their trust, their commitment are not valued. Let's take a look at some examples of dishonest behavior. It could be as blatant as lying about where they've been or who they've been with. But dishonesty can also be more subtle. It could be in the form of withholding information, not being completely transparent about their feelings or intentions, or even twisting the truth to avoid conflict. Dishonesty can also manifest through broken promises and inconsistent behavior. You might notice they say one thing and do another, or they might make promises they never intend to keep. It's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes, and we all tell little white lies from time to time. But there's a big difference between an occasional slip-up and a pattern of dishonest behavior. When dishonesty becomes a habit, it's a clear sign that something is wrong. It's a sign of disrespect, a lack of integrity, and a lack of regard for the other person's feelings. But what can you do if you spot dishonesty? First, it's important to communicate. Express your concerns, share your feelings, and let them know how their behavior is affecting you. However, if the dishonest behavior continues, it might be time to reconsider the relationship. Remember, you deserve someone who respects you, values your trust, and is committed to being honest with you. So why is dishonesty a sign that God might be telling you to avoid a certain woman? Well, in Proverbs 12:22, it is written, "The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy." God values honesty and truthfulness, and he wants the same for us in our relationships. When dishonesty becomes a recurring issue, it's a sign that the relationship is not in line with God's will for us. Honesty is the best policy, always. It's not just a saying, it's a principle to live by, a guiding light in our relationships. So if you find yourself in a relationship where dishonesty is a common theme, it might be time to reassess and remember that God has a better plan for you. So there you have it, the 7 signs that God may be telling you to avoid a certain woman in your life. Let's briefly recap what we've discussed, so you can keep these signs at the forefront of your mind. First, beware of anyone who projects past issues onto you. This can create an unhealthy dynamic that stunts personal growth. Second, watch out for unstable behavior, as this could indicate deeper emotional or psychological issues. Third, be cautious of unbiblical dependency. A healthy relationship fosters mutual support, not one-sided reliance. Moving on, the 4th sign to consider is a negative reputation. If multiple sources express concern, it's worth taking a step back and reassessing the situation. Fifth, be mindful if your relationship with God starts to decline. This relationship should be your priority, and any person who hinders that bond should be reconsidered. The sixth sign is a lack of respect. Mutual respect is the foundation of any successful relationship. If it's missing, it's time to reconsider. Lastly, the seventh sign is dishonesty. Honesty is integral to trust, and without it, a relationship cannot thrive. Remember, these signs are not ironclad rules, but guidance to help you navigate your relationships. It's crucial to pray, seek wisdom, and ask for God's guidance in all aspects of your life, including relationships. God's wisdom is far greater than our own, and He will lead you down the right path if you seek His counsel. If you found this video useful, feel free to leave a comment below and share your experiences of being a Christian. Remember, God's guidance is always there for us, we just need to listen.